Oh, boy, the utilities have had a rough time lately as the competition from higher Treasury yields and the knowledge that a Fed rate hike is coming makes their dividends seem less attractive than to bonds. But now there's a broad consensus, right or wrong, that China's in real trouble, putting pressure on the entire global economy. So maybe we'll see some money rotate back to the safe domestic utilities. Take American Electric Power, AEP, which owns the largest power transmission network in America, along with a massive power generation portfolio serving more than 5 million customers across 11 states. Stock had a terrific year in 2014, but thanks to that bond market competition I mentioned earlier, AEP's come down more than 10% for 2015. Still, at these levels, the stock now gives you a bountiful 3.9% yield. That's pretty attractive. Plus, American Electric Power just reported this morning, delivering a 7-cent earnings beat off of an 81-cent basis, albeit on lighter than expected revenues. This is a robust quarter. The company also boosted its full-year guidance. Nevertheless, the stock got hit today, falling just over 60 cents, in part because it was dragged down by the rest of the utility complex. However, with that really kind of bountiful yield, some good strength across a host of states, I got to wonder if we're getting to the point where AEP starts to look pretty attractive. So let's take a closer look with Nick Akins, the chairman, president, and CEO of American Electric Power, hear more about the quarter and his company's prospects. Mr. Akins, welcome back to Mad Money.
Hi, Jim. Great to be with you again.
All right, Nick, I will hope you'll explain to our viewers, because many of them own your stock, that a utility isn't like a lot of other companies. A company that, if a tech company were to report the kind of earnings surprise you did, its stock might go up big. That's not how it works with American Electric Power, right?
That's true. I mean, many of our investors are long-term investors, and for us to continue to invest and to beat the market, it really says a lot about the foundational elements of what we provided during this year. So it's a good year, a great year for us. We'll continue plodding along to ensure that we continue with those continual revenues to our investors. So it's clearly a positive for us.
Right. So the way I would read through it if I were an investor in American Electric Power is that it does make it more likely that we could see dividend increases rather than less likely, because you're making a lot of money.
That's true. I mean, typically our board and our management certainly are focused on earnings improvement, and our dividend continues to track our earnings improvement. And typically our board evaluates that in October, and will continue to do so. All
right, Nick, Union Pacific reported today they're a fine company, and their coal cargoes were down a shattering amount, almost by a third. And I'm wondering, you're seeing this aversion to coal. What does it mean for the country and for American Electric Power?
Well, I think it's a particular challenge. Coal needs to remain a part of the portfolio, but there is a massive change going on in terms of rebalancing of that portfolio, particularly in light of shale gas activity, the advent of renewables, other technologies that are forming. So we need to balance the fleet, obviously, from a U.S. perspective to really build security of our energy supply, but also from a coal perspective, that coal picture needs to stay there as well.
But do you think there'll ever be another new coal plant built in this country?
I don't really see that happening, because at this point you have to have some form of carbon capture and storage in place, and it's very, very expensive. And with natural gas there, certainly that's going to be the fuel of choice for central station generation.
Nick, one thing I would ask you, you guys are pro-solar, you've got solar projects. What would happen if many of the states decided that if you put a solar panel on your roof, that American Electric Power had to take your power? What would it do to overall power bills if suddenly everybody was able to send you electricity? Wouldn't it send our bills up, because that would make it so that you couldn't meet exactly what your plants can do?
Yeah, it's really an issue because it's intermittent supply. Solar is an intermittent supply, so is wind power. And the more renewables you put in place, you're still backing it up with large central station generation that can provide 24/7 power whenever the customer flips on the light switch. So you really have to think about the overall portfolio of resources and what they actually provide. Energy costs are lower, but capacity costs, the cost to put these investments in place, are typically higher than we can do with other central station generation. So it takes all of it together, but you have to really focus on those activities that in order to drive up customers' cost in the end. We have to be mindful of that.
All right. Now, one thing that's very clear is that across the panoply of your states, you saw pretty good business. You even mentioned the fact that despite the fact that there may be a drop down in oil and gas in terms of the number of people that employs, the amount of power that is, that things are still marginally getting better in the country.
No, absolutely. I think you see the overall economy starting to improve. All three of our load sectors were up: commercial, industrial, and residential. And also, when you look at the oil and gas activity, we cover a large portion of the shale gas activity in this country. And when you look at those kinds of activities, there's a lot of optimization occurring, which brings on a lot of compressor load. So even though rig counts may be down and that kind of thing, the overall usage of electricity is going up in those regions.
Well, I think that's important, and what matters to me and matters to our viewers is that it's just steady as she goes. I want to congratulate you again for a better-than-expected quarter. One day we'll stop worrying about rate hikes, and people start buying American Electric Power again. Great to see you, Nick Akins, the Chairman, President, and CEO of American Electric Power. Guys, look, these stocks are not in the control of the companies. They're far more in the control of the overall grips of what the Fed's going to do. But American Electric Power, in that content, just keeps delivering and delivering. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.